This tiny camera honestly surprised me more than I expected. I've been using the Insta360 GO Ultra camera in real-world situations this weekend, and after testing the video quality, stabilization, audio, battery life, and all the weird little quirks, I finally understand why so many people love this thing. But I also ran into a few frustrating issues that nobody really talks about. So in this video, I'm going to show you real footage that I captured, test the microphone quality of the Mic Air, and go over the biggest complaints and fixes, and also talk about whether it's actually worth buying right now during the Memorial Day sale. The first thing that stands out about the Insta360 GO Ultra is just how ridiculously small it is. Pictures honestly don't fully show you how small it is until you hold it in person, and it's lightweight enough that you almost forget that you're wearing it, which makes it feel really different from something like a GoPro. And that's actually the biggest reason I wanted to test this camera in the first place. Most action cameras are great for planned shots, but this feels more like a camera where you can casually bring it everywhere. My use cases have been walking clips, everyday point of view footage, quick social media content, handheld shots, and even random small moments where pulling out a larger camera would have been really annoying. And the setup process was surprisingly easy, with the app experience being extremely smooth and better than I expected. The magnetic mounting system is honestly one of the best parts because it makes switching angles incredibly fast. You can get great angles with this thing. But obviously the real question is whether the footage actually looks good enough to justify the price. What makes this camera stand out isn't necessarily raw image quality, but its convenience. The entire design is built around being fast and effortless. You can clip it onto your shirt, attach it magnetically, throw it into your pocket, or set it up in the places that larger cameras just easily can't fit. The stabilization is surprisingly impressive for something this small. A lot of the walking footage that I took almost looks like it was shot on a gimbal. Another thing I really like is how quickly you can start filming. With bigger cameras, sometimes you miss moments because setting everything up takes so long. This camera feels designed for capturing things instantly, and you can just click the button for a quick capture. The charging case also helps a lot because it extends the battery life while keeping the entire setup pocketable, and I know battery is a concern of this. I'll get into that later in the video. But if you're making content for YouTube Shorts, Instagram, anything of that sort, casual vlog style footage, this workflow honestly makes a lot of sense. Alright, so this is where the camera really matters, the actual footage. One thing I noticed immediately is that the stabilization is much better than I expected from a camera this small when I was reviewing the footage I shot. Walking shots look smooth enough that most people would probably assume you were using a much larger setup. The dynamic range holds up reasonably well outdoors, especially in bright daylight when it comes to switching between dark and light areas. Obviously, this isn't going to compete with a full mirrorless camera, but for something that can literally fit in your pocket, the quality is honestly very impressive. I also found that the camera works best when you lean into what it's designed for. This is not really meant to replace professional cinema gear. It's designed to capture moments quickly, casually, with almost no setup time. So for social media clips, quick YouTube B-roll, travel footage, biking clips, walking shots, everyday content creation, it works really well. Low light is definitely weaker, which is expected from a tiny sensor, although the Ultra has been updated from the Go 3S and other Insta360 cameras. In darker scenes, you'll start to notice some softness and additional noise, especially compared to larger cameras, but during the day, the footage can look cinematic if you frame your shots well. Now let's talk about the audio, because this is one of the biggest questions people usually have with tiny cameras like this. Right now, you are listening to the internal mic on the Insta360 GO Ultra. Honestly, for casual content and social media clips, the built-in audio is much better than I expected. But if you're planning to use this camera for serious YouTube videos or cleaner voice recordings, I definitely recommend using an external microphone wherever possible. Wind noise can become noticeable, although I haven't experienced it outdoors, depending on the conditions of the wind. But for quick clips, voice memos, travel content, point of view shots, and social media videos, the audio is absolutely usable. And the convenience factor honestly matters a lot here, because sometimes the best camera is just the one you actually bring with you. I found myself using this more than I have previous cameras in the past because it's so cool and fun to use. So all of this being said, as much as I like this camera, there are definitely some complaints that people have had online, and honestly some of them are valid. The biggest one is probably overheating during longer recording sessions. This camera works best for shorter clips and burst style recording rather than filming continuously for extremely long periods. I have experienced some overheating, but not as bad as the online reviews. Battery life is also decent, but not amazing. The charging case helps a lot, but for a couple hours here and there, it does work really well, and to solve the battery battery life issue, I bought the Insta360 power handle, which I will have linked in the description, along with all the other accessories and the camera itself. Insta360 is having a Memorial Day sale right now, and I'll cover that in a little bit, but the power handle solved most of my battery life issues. Low light quality, because the sensor is so small, darker environments can look noticeably softer and noisier. They look really good, but compared to other cameras, if you want a professional shot, this isn't really the camera for you. Personally, I think this camera performs best outdoors or in well-lit situations. Some people also complain about the app workflow, although honestly I found it easier after spending some time learning it, and I don't really use the Insta360 app, I use my own video editor. Once you understand how the file management works, which is super easy, just plugging into your computer, exporting the video, and then editing it in your editing app, it becomes much smoother. So overall, I think most of the complaints come down to expectations. If you expect this to fully replace a professional camera setup, you'll probably be disappointed, but if you treat it as an ultra portable everyday camera, it honestly makes a lot more sense with a lot of different use cases outside of things like the iPhone. Now I want to get into the sale that Insta360 is having. If you've been thinking about picking up the Insta360 GO Ultra, there actually is a Memorial Day sale happening right now directly on their website, and I will have the links in the description for the camera itself, along with some of the accessories that I think are genuinely worth getting. Personally, I'd recommend looking at extra mounts like the power handle, a good external microphone setup if you plan to do YouTube videos like the Mic Air, and possibly extra storage, which you can use a micro SD card for depending on how much footage you want to shoot. And if you do end up buying anything through those links I provide, it helps support the channel at no extra cost to you, which I really appreciate. So check out the products below if you're interested in anything about this camera. I personally have the camera itself, some magnetic mounts that came with the package, extra battery accessories like the power handle, the Mic Air external microphone, the mini tripod which came for free with my package, a 256GB micro SD card, and a protective case. So overall, I actually came away more impressed with the Insta360 GO Ultra than I expected. Its biggest strength, convenience. It's tiny, lightweight, easy to carry, quick to start recording, and surprisingly capable for everyday content creation. It definitely has its limitations, which I covered, especially in low light and longer recording situations, but for travel clips, point of view footage, social media content, casual vlogging, and everyday moments, it honestly fits a really interesting niche. If you've been considering one, especially during the Memorial Day sale, this probably is one of the better times to grab it. Let me know in the comments what you think about the footage quality or the Insta360 GO Ultra, and if there are any other tests you want to see or any questions you might have, happy to respond to all of the comments below. And if this video helped you out, be sure to like, subscribe, and check the links below for the current deals and accessories. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.